Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel, and thanks for logging on. If you enjoy these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I would really appreciate it, and I promise to update daily. If you love this watch, see it and purchase it on our website, thewatchbox.com. Today we are discussing a rare specimen indeed. This is the FP Journe Vagabondage, also known as the Vagabondage 1. So called because, frankly, when they came out with it, they didn't realize there would be two additional models. So the timepiece was originally conceived in 2004 to be made in a flight of 3 watches as an auction item for the 30th anniversary festivities revolving around the auction house Antiquorum. That first 3-piece set gave birth to a production model from 2005 to 2006. The watch you see here, 69 pieces in platinum, followed by an additional 10 pieces in platinum with diamond-paved lugs and bezel. This watch in pure platinum, no gems, proves that sometimes less is more. Compared to the V2 and the V3, the V1 is a bit more compact, about 2.5 millimeters lug-to-lug. The watch is 43 millimeters across the wrist. As you can see, lug-to-lug 43 millimeters on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist. It's a traditionally sized men's form watch, and roughly like a Datejust 36 lug-to-lug. Now across the case, it gets a bit broader. 35.9 millimeters means that this watch actually winds up feeling more like a 40 millimeter round watch on the wrist. It's the thinnest of the three by about half a millimeter at 7.2 millimeters, and the spacing between the lugs on this watch is 18 millimeters. The strap on the timepiece is correct to the period. Back in the mid-2000s, FP Journe was not using the double gaiter, so you can see it's calfskin on the bottom, not gaiter, and there are no pull tabs inside the spring bars, so this is the old-school Journe strap and spring bar arrangement, correct to the period of the watch and possibly original to the watch. Now moving over to the clasp, you can see that it is a deploying clasp. A rare feature on FP Journe timepieces, they usually come with pin buckles, even in platinum editions. You can see that the swing arm component is made of white gold, which is the hardest of the gold to reinforce the mechanical part that moves, but then underneath you can see that the buckle itself, you can see 950. It is a platinum buckle. It is a gold swing arm, so bimetallic for strength. Now the timepiece, as you get a little bit closer, features a very conventional medium rectangular scale alligator leather in a semi-gloss with a monotone stitch and a folded edge, but the case begins to diverge from convention. You can see that FP Journe designed the watch essentially around the movement. Let's talk about the movement for a moment. It's a no-name caliber. Typically FP Journe movements are named per their size in French lean, an archaic method of measuring a movement, and then the second set of numbers represents the year that work started. Well, this was an old movement that had been created for a Cartier CP Tortue that never happened. So it was a sized and shaped movement, not originally planned in 18 karat gold, though Journe executed it that way. He retained the rights to the movement. Remember, he was principally a hired gun white label movement engineer during the 80s and the 90s. He founded THA, and this movement came out of that enterprise. So he kept the movement, and he had it kicking around for a special occasion. Antiquorum came asking about a special watch for their occasion, and thus the movement was married to an FP Journe timepiece. But note, FP Journe on the caseback, FP Journe on the movement. On the dial side, no such thing, as there's simply no way of judging the provenance of the watch other than a few design telltales. Starting outboard, you can see that the flank is beveled. It features the Journe double dimple knurled crown, and you can see that there's a bevel that runs on the caseband, and the hoods of the lugs themselves are of high polish, but the bezel itself is a vertical satin finish. Now we're going to get a little bit closer, talk about the dial in detail, because there are some interesting highlights. What appears to be a piano key or railroad track outboard is flanked by black polished plates, each one held in place by a Journe black polished screw, the dial side bezel bolts being a Journe style signature since the very first Tourbillon Remontoir of 1999. So you can see, design-wise, there are some FP Journe cues. Moving inboard, you can see that there is that railroad style minutes track, and then there is a set of Arabic numerals in a florid, almost Art Nouveau font that most will immediately recognize as identifiable with Journe. But what appears to be a gray disc is actually a cross-hatching of black with small white stripes. You can loop this disc and realize it is actually a set of white and black cross-hatching that creates the gray aesthetic. Center, you can see that there is a polished and beveled white gold frame for the balance itself, featuring double bolts, black polished, and you can see the 18 karat movement underneath a beating balance that's chugging away at 26,000 or 21,600 vibrations per hour, pardon me. Now, the way this system works is that it quite literally serves as the namesake for the watch, vagabondage, or vagrancy, to wander about aimlessly. And what happens is, at the turn of the hour, the aperture jumps hours. Meanwhile, the hour track itself, let's just make sure that's out all the way, is mobile for 60 minutes. So it catches and holds the hour, and then at the turn of the hour, it jumps to the next hour and it continues its journey. The timepiece, powered by that no-name movement, is surprisingly sophisticated on the reverse side. First, you have that rose gold movement and plate setup, so the watch, compact, nevertheless feels incredibly massive on the wrist, with a solid gold movement, a platinum case, and a platinum and white gold clasp. Note twin mainspring barrels that are wound with a single crown a la chronomètre résonance, and you can see the crown wheel turns 2 ratchet wheels with 2 independent clicks and click springs. There is a power reserve of about 32 to 36 hours, and as you can see, it's a 19 joule movement. The reason FP Journe did not put his name on the front of this watch is because the movement's precision was good but not great, and he couldn't conscience a non-chronometer, or at least a watch he didn't see personally as a chronometer, bearing his name on the dial side, and that became a tradition for the entire Vagabondage series. None of them feature the maker's name on the front. So a remarkable architecture, a rare timepiece, a wonderful piece of FP Journe backstory with the Cartier provenance of this original design, and of course the rarity of the Vagabondage. It should be noted that there were just those 79 plus 3, the 82 total of the first generation Vagabondage, but subsequently the V2 and the V3 were made in 69 examples platinum and 68 examples red gold each, so they're far more numerous than the original timepiece, and the original timepiece, because it is a coveted rarity, rarely comes to market, so this is a truly exceptional piece. Take a look. You're probably never going to see another. I know I haven't. This is the first and likely the last. The FP Journe Vagabondage.